The RMS Titanic, a name synonymous with both grandeur and tragedy. The Titanic was not just a ship, it was a floating palace, a marvel of modern engineering and luxury. It was designed to be the epitome of opulence, with lavish interiors that rivaled the finest hotels of the time. Passengers from all walks of life, from the wealthiest elites to hopeful immigrants, boarded the ship with dreams of a new life in America. This British passenger liner, the largest of its time, set sail on her maiden voyage in 1912. The world watched in awe as the Titanic embarked on its journey from Southampton to New York City, a voyage that was meant to be a testament to human ingenuity and progress. On board was William Murdoch, a seasoned sailor from Dalbeattie, Scotland. Murdoch had spent years honing his skills on the high seas, earning a reputation as a capable and reliable officer. His journey to the Titanic was one of dedication and hard work, rising through the ranks to become one of the most trusted officers in the White Star Line. Murdoch was the first officer, a position of great responsibility. As first officer, he was second in command to Captain Edward Smith and was responsible for the safety and navigation of the ship. His role required not only technical expertise, but also the ability to lead and make quick decisions in times of crisis. He was known for his competence and dedication. Colleagues and crew members respected him for his professionalism and calm demeanor. Murdoch's leadership was a crucial element in maintaining order and discipline on the ship. Murdoch's life at sea had prepared him for many challenges. He had faced storms, mechanical failures, and the unpredictable nature of the ocean. Each experience had shaped him into a resilient and resourceful officer, ready to tackle any obstacle that came his way. But nothing could have prepared him for the fateful night of April 14th. The calm, starry night seemed perfect for sailing, but beneath the surface lay hidden dangers. Icebergs, massive and silent, drifted in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. The Titanic, believed to be unsinkable, struck an iceberg. The collision was sudden and catastrophic, tearing a series of holes along the ship's starboard side. The impact was felt throughout the ship, sending a shudder through its steel frame. The collision sent shockwaves through the ship. Passengers and crew alike were jolted from their beds, confusion and fear spreading rapidly. The once serene and majestic vessel was now a scene of chaos and uncertainty. It became clear that the Titanic was in grave danger. Water began to flood the lower compartments, and the ship's fate was sealed. The realization that the unsinkable ship was indeed sinking was a devastating blow to all on board. Murdoch, ever the dutiful officer, sprang into action. His training and experience took over as he coordinated the evacuation efforts. He knew that time was of the essence and that every second counted in the race to save lives. He was instrumental in directing the evacuation of passengers. Murdoch oversaw the lowering of lifeboats, ensuring that as many people as possible could escape the sinking ship. His clear-headedness and quick thinking were vital in those critical moments. He followed the women and children first protocol. This principle was a maritime tradition, and Murdoch adhered to it strictly, prioritizing the safety of the most vulnerable passengers. His calm demeanor amidst the chaos provided a beacon of hope for many. In the face of unimaginable disaster, Murdoch's composed presence reassured those around him, giving them the strength to face the ordeal. Little did he know that his actions that night would be scrutinized for over a century. The legacy of William Murdoch and the Titanic disaster would be remembered and analyzed by historians, ensuring that the bravery and tragedy of that night would never be forgotten. In the aftermath of the tragedy, stories of heroism and chaos emerged. The sinking of the Titanic was one of the most devastating maritime disasters in history, and it left an indelible mark on the collective memory of the world. Amidst these tales, a shadow fell upon William Murdoch's legacy. Murdoch, the first officer of the Titanic, was a seasoned sailor with a reputation for competence and bravery. However, conflicting accounts of his actions on that fateful night began to surface, casting doubt on his character and decisions. As the world grappled with the enormity of the disaster, newspapers and eyewitnesses provided varying narratives. Some accounts suggested that Murdoch had taken his own life in the chaos, unable to bear the weight of the catastrophe. These claims were deeply troubling to those who knew him. Murdoch was known for his calm demeanor and strong sense of duty. The idea that he would resort to such an act was hard to reconcile with the man they respected. Others claimed he had fired his gun, adding to the panic and confusion on the deck. This version of events painted Murdoch as a man who lost control in the face of disaster, further tarnishing his reputation. These accusations, while unsubstantiated, were amplified in popular culture. Movies and books about the Titanic often depicted Murdoch in a negative light, cementing these controversial narratives in the public's mind. Murdoch became a figure of controversy, his actions scrutinized and debated by historians and enthusiasts alike. His bravery was questioned, his name tarnished by the weight of unproven allegations. The lack of concrete evidence did little to quell the rumors. Despite numerous investigations and inquiries, definitive proof of Murdoch's actions remained elusive. This ambiguity allowed the controversy to persist, overshadowing his previous accomplishments. For over a century, the cloud of uncertainty lingered over Murdoch's story. Each new retelling of the Titanic disaster brought his name back into the spotlight, often with the same unresolved questions. The Titanic's wreckage, discovered decades later, provided some answers but also raised new questions. The physical evidence from the site offered insights into the ship's final moments but did little to clarify Murdoch's role. His family and the people of Dalbeattie, his hometown, were left to defend his honor. They remembered Murdoch as a dedicated officer and a beloved son, brother, and friend. Their personal memories clashed with the public's perception shaped by sensational stories. They clung to the belief that the man they knew was a hero. They spoke out against the negative portrayals, sharing stories of his kindness and professionalism in an effort to restore his reputation. They yearned for the day when the truth would surface and clear his name. The quest for vindication became a mission for Murdoch's descendants and supporters, who continued to seek out new evidence and challenge the prevailing narratives. In 2023, a glimmer of hope emerged from the depths of the Atlantic. Magellan, a deep-sea mapping company, conducted a groundbreaking 3D scan of the Titanic wreckage. The technology allowed for an unprecedented level of detail. It was like seeing the wreck for the first time, free from the distortions of time and decay. This wasn't just about mapping the Titanic's remains, it was about uncovering the truth piece by piece. The 3D model provided a new perspective on the events of that night. It offered a chance to re-examine the evidence and perhaps rewrite history. The scans, comprising millions of images and terabytes of data, were meticulously analyzed. Experts from various fields, including maritime historians and nautical archaeologists, pored over the data. They were looking for any clue that could shed light on the events of April 15, 1912. Section 4. Truth from the depths. What the scans revealed. The analysis of the three-dimensional scans, spearheaded by Titanic expert Park Stevenson, yielded astonishing results. Stevenson's findings challenged the long-held assumptions about Murdoch's actions. The scans showed no evidence to support the claims of suicide or gunfire. In fact, the evidence pointed to the contrary. The positioning of lifeboats and the distribution of survivors corroborated eyewitness accounts of Murdoch's heroism. He was seen tirelessly working to load lifeboats, ensuring the safety of as many passengers as possible. The scans also revealed that Murdoch was following established protocol. He was adhering to the women and children first rule. The evidence painted a picture of a man who faced his fate with courage and composure, a man who put the lives of others before his own. Section 5. A legacy tarnished Murdoch on the silver screen. William Murdoch, the first officer of the RMS Titanic, has been a figure of historical significance for over a century. His actions on that fateful night in April 1912 have been the subject of much debate and scrutiny. However, his legacy took a controversial turn with his portrayal in popular media. The portrayal of William Murdoch in James Cameron's 1997 film Titanic contributed significantly to the negative perception of the first officer. The film, which became a global phenomenon, introduced millions to a version of Murdoch that was far from the truth. In the film, Murdoch is depicted accepting a bribe and shooting passengers before taking his own life. These scenes, while adding dramatic tension to the narrative, painted Murdoch in a light that was not supported by historical evidence. This fictionalized portrayal, while dramatic, was a gross misrepresentation of the man and his actions. Historical records and testimonies from survivors suggest that Murdoch acted with bravery and professionalism during the disaster. Cameron's film, while a cinematic masterpiece, took creative liberties with historical accuracy. The director's choice to depict Murdoch in such a negative manner was met with criticism from historians and Titanic enthusiasts alike. The result was a damaging blow to Murdoch's legacy. Many viewers, unaware of the historical inaccuracies, accepted the film's portrayal as fact, leading to widespread misconceptions about Murdoch's character and actions. Millions around the world were left with a distorted view of the first officer. The film's success meant that this inaccurate portrayal reached a vast audience, further entrenching the false narrative. The film's success amplified the inaccuracies, solidifying them in the public consciousness. As the movie broke box office records and won numerous awards, the fictionalized version of Murdoch became more widely accepted than the historical truth. It became a difficult task to separate fact from fiction. Discussions and debates about the film often centered around its historical inaccuracies, with Murdoch's portrayal being a focal point of contention. The Murdoch family was understandably outraged by the film's portrayal. They felt that the film dishonored the memory of a man who had served with distinction and bravery. They campaigned tirelessly to clear his name, hoping to restore his rightful place in history. Through public statements, interviews, and even legal actions, the Murdoch family sought to correct the record and honor William Murdoch's true legacy. Their efforts highlighted the importance of historical accuracy